is the SETT framework case study for Marcus, a 12-year-old boy from Buffalo, New York, who is diagnosed with spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy. And in addition to that, he also has a moderate speech and language impairment. So some of Marcus's strengths and interests include that he is intelligent and academically at grade level compared to the rest of his peers. He's also an exploratory learner, so he's very curious about learning new things and seeing different things. Therefore, his first interest would also be exploring. So, say he was at a museum, exploring new exhibits or things he hasn't seen before. He is also interested in science, so space and other things like that. So, that also comes with being an explorer. History, which is the subset of the ancient, or which is the main theme or topic of ancient civilization. So when Marcus is older, he would also like to work in a museum or in an area that involves outer space. So tailored both to his history and science interests. He also is always brightened by a good joke. Some challenges Marcus has is that he it struggles to make his needs known clearly, specifically to unfamiliar people or adults. So if there was a substitute, he would need his special education teacher, paraprofessional, someone he is familiar with. And that also tags along to needing adult support for the rest of his schoolwork. Marcus has limited fine motor skills, so we're going to get to that after. He doesn't always feel like he has adequate time to do his schoolwork, so when he feels overwhelmed or he doesn't have time, he can get visibly frustrated. Marcus is also in a wheelchair, which in fact affects his whole overall environment in school, as he needs the appropriate amount of space to move his wheelchair around the classroom. So that's like aisles in between desks, or getting from maybe the group table to the carpet, or to a different bigger area in the room. Due to Marcus's fine motor skill limitations, his participation is influenced as he cannot participate such as the rest of his class would. So it's hard for him. So say they were cutting and gluing or writing notes or an essay, he cannot use the scissors or the pencil or whatever writing utensil in general. And maybe even the glue stick is hard for him to manipulate. Socially, Marcus would have a difficult time. So, in group work, so collaborating with his peers during group work, say they were taking notes in a group, or they were asked to communicate and talk about a specific topic, because his speech language impairment, he does need adult support to support him in that. And this would also affect other areas of his school day, such as maybe going to a special, where a lot of times, like in gym, they have like group activities, or in music where you might sing a song, and then also in the lunchroom. So just outside of academic talk. In addition, if he doesn't have the proper supports, instructionally, again, he can become visibly frustrated, and that might even lead to him not wanting to do the rest of his schoolwork, or like finishing the problem, or he might want to skip over that problem. So overall, Marcus Although he receives modifications and accommodations, he's expected to complete the same academic tasks as his peers, so like the writing and the projects that they do, and then they also complete all of that through Google Classroom. And then they do use the integration of multimedia. So they do PowerPoints and videos and posters, so including like writing documents. Marcus is also functionally expected to participate in the regular daily activities, so making choices, following his classroom schedule, being in class discussions, to improve him on doing these tasks independently. He can use the multimedia tools. Specifically, these could be like from chapter 10, the production app, the podcasts and vodcasts, where he can he can start it, pause it, rewind, fast forward. These also use speech to text, so if he's talking into the computer, it relays the information, and types it out for him. I also thought the Adobe Spark that was discussed in chapter 10 could also help support Marcus, especially if these are used with the eye gazing device. If he would have to take that test or assessment over again to collect the proper data. As it mentioned, they didn't really collect data, they just were seeing how he used it. When and if Marcus is assigned an assistive technology or the proper assistive technology and multimedia tools to support him, he can effectively and appropriately interact, or he would be able to effectively and appropriately interact with the rest of his classmates. I feel like maybe at the beginning would still need some support from his teachers, and maybe if his peers know how to use the same devices, that would also help him. In addition to the multimedia tools, again, podcasts could allow him to demonstrate what he's learned in an assessment way or show other abilities. Like he did like the ways that his peers were able to do the projects, so maybe giving him one of those multimedia tools to express what he knows and engage, of course, with his assistive technology. Multimedia also gives Marcus multiple ways to access the information that he needs to output how he's learning. And I believe also academically and cognitively that Marcus is on the right track. As before it stated, he was academically similar, at least to his peers. However, in contrast, he does have the fine motor limitations, and so that causes him to not be able to accurately do his work or perform on academic work. So, specifically speaking towards the standardized tests, if he got more time or was using an AAC device for communication, that could really support Marcus. With that said, I do think it's important for a team conversation to be held, and then there should be a retrial more professionally of the eye gazing device. This should be completed again with like redocumentation or actually documenting the results and how it was used and how well he did with it and all of that.